equations capture that infinite back and forth process. That's the real conceptual point. Question. Okay. Let's summarize this. So the total cost to be allocated under the reciprocal method is larger than the actual cost of the service department. In this particular example, once we saw we have 8 million in costs to allocate, 6 million from one, 2 million from the other. Whereas originally we only had 5,800,000 in costs. Let me write it up here.
Would you just change?
I just put in larger.
No, because
Right
it's
here,
oh, because
larger.
yeah, he would be doing.
We looked originally, if we look at this equation, we had 5,800,000 in costs.
Can do that.
Right? That's what we were, the service cost that we had to pass on as overhead
Yeah.
to the other departments. So we had 5,800,000 in cost to pass on to the other departments. But what we ended up doing was passing down 8 million, but less than 100% of that 8 million. Write it down here. However, less than 100%. So this is a basic method. If you want to remember what happens, you first have to blow the cost up and then allocate less than 100% of the cost. As I say, setting up the equation. It's pretty intuitive. Solving them is just technique. So setting up the equations is pretty intuitive. Solving them is technique. But the last step is not really clear why you have to do it this way, but it does work, is that I allocate less than 100% of the cost. Only the proportion of the service department.
That's related to
Good question. Okay. We'll come back to practice this some more. We'll look at, well, we won't practice reciprocal. Well, I guess we have one more problem to look at. I want to finish up by saying that there is a problem with fixed costs and variable costs. So let's, a minor point. You don't do S1 to S1, though sometimes like a cafeteria, the cafeteria workers might eat some of the food, right? So you don't do service department to itself typically. You just ignore it. I want to finish with this. Why we have a difference between fixed costs and variable costs. I'll let you read this. So two sales departments were each asked how many miles their salespeople were expected to drive in 2015. Sales department A came up with an estimate of 300,000 and sales department B with an estimate of 150,000. Based on these estimates, the company signed an agreement with Davis to pay a fixed fee of 900,000 to allow their sales reps to use their car for a total of 450,000 miles. So let's just stop there and make sure that this makes sense, right? So you go to them and you say, how much do you expect people to drive? Okay, so suppose somebody came to you and said, how much will your salespeople be expected to drive? What would be your tendency? Little more or a little less or a
More.
little more, right? This is the problem. Okay? All right. So keep that in mind. they gave this, and so you went to Avis and you said, look, we want to use your cars for a total of 450,000 miles. How much will you charge us? Then all right, pay us $900,000 and you can use our cars for 450,000 miles. Okay. So is it clear that this is the overhead that has to be allocated?
This one, so.
I'll let you look at this and give me a number. They each drove the same number of miles.
Right.
I'll give me the obvious
300
number.
over 400.
Because you're not gonna know actually
Wait,
until the end of the year.
right.
Right.
Well, the obvious answer.
50-50.
50-50. Yeah, the obvious answer. Why not? Do you think there's a problem here?
Because you
Yeah,
don't know
'cause-
what the actual is going to be until, you don't know what the actual is going to be
Actually, right.
until,
But the
Till
problem
the-
is, Sales Department B is gonna get hit with $450,000 when originally they should have only been tapped for a third of it.
Yeah,
They're gonna
that's
get
the
half instead
problem.
of a third.
Yeah.
So that's why you're gonna.
How
use
would
the
you
third.
feel if you are the department, manager of Department B?
Mm.
You know, and this is the problem with fixed costs, right? This is the problem with fixed costs. Yeah.
Should still be
So
2/3.
everybody
Two
comes
for
and
one.
says a little bit more than they need, then they use a little bit less, and they shift the cost on to the other departments. And here, the sales manager, if you do it based on the usage which you would normally do, the sales manager of Department B, the manager of Department B is going to look bad. So give me a suggestion. How do you think we should allocate this?
2/3, 1/3,
2 to
600 to A.
Sorry,
2/3, 1/3,
2/3,
600,000 to
1/3? Based on what they asked for?
A. Yeah, they're estimates.
Makes
One
sense.
guy got it right, one guy got it wrong.
Should give him a bonus. Yeah. But this is the point, okay? So you allocate fixed costs based on how these fixed costs were originally
Right.
agreed to.
'Cause you're-
But you don't do it based on usage. Because if you do it based on usage, people are going to ask for a lot more resources than they need. If they don't use it, it's no cost to them, somebody else gets the
You should get
extra.
dinged for that.
Okay, so the allocation of fixed costs.
Taking this down. Let me go. Since I got this going.
So allocation of fixed costs. Okay, so it turns out that you have to be careful again when you're allocating service costs to separate the fixed service cost from the variable service cost. Okay, so this is the point, and we look at it, take a break, get some coffee. I'll see either forgotten about us about the thermostat. Let me see if I can remind them, and we'll take a break.
I got
and come
used
back.
to it.
it's not gonna be.
So, break then.
Let me- You know what? You know we were getting out of here early, so I'm just fucking dealing with it at this point. I know that's not the right way to go. Service calls are done in a different way. What?
It's hot.
Did you want to walk him through what we did? You want to take a 2 minute? Let's get up for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
really
that's
wanna-
fine. I just need to
I
get
know.
some air.
I agree. I'm just what I don't need to be is working on this thing for like 2 months. So I think we can all